Chumash and Rashi, Torah portion Ve'eschanan, second portion in the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy. We're in the first portion. Let's get right to it. Okay. All right. Ve'eschanan, that's the name of the parsha. I entreated, I implored. What translation is given over there?
I entreated.
Yeah, okay. El Hashem, to God. This is Moshe speaking in first person. Ve'esahi, at that time. Lamor, saying. Okay. Maybe I'll let people in. Thank you. Okay, Rashi. Ve'eschanan, I implored, I entreated. Ein chinun b'chol makom elash and matnas chinam. This word chinun of imploring or entreating in all the places in Torah means a gift that's for free. What does that mean? A gift that's for free? Although the righteous, they can make a request from God depending on their good deeds, right? In other words, they're justified in their request. They deserve things, right? They deserve. So they could make the request in such a way. However, they don't request from God, a gift from God. In other words, they're not coming onto God, that God, you owe me one.
Yeah.
They don't come with that attitude. God, you owe me one. What a lesson in life, right?
Yeah.
And where in fact they do. They are owed. I mean, they have done a lot and done a lot for God, but they don't go that way. The Visha Amar loy, because God told Moshe, I will show favor to whom I shall show favor. So God, Moshe spoke in a term of Eschanan. Okay. Well, different explanations. I'd like to see what the Rebbe says on this. There's sichos on the Rebbe on this, but not now. Davar acher, alternative explanations. These are one of the 10 expressions that are called tefillah, prayer. Kedisa v'sifri, as is in the sifri, right? Different terms for tefillah, and this is one of them. In other words, it's not that he's asking for a gift, but he's praying to God. Why we need the two explanations, right? Obviously, each one is lacking. Why the first is first? That's a good question. At that time, after I conquered Eretz Sichon v'Oig, the land of Sichon and Oig, Demisi, it seemed to me, Shema Hutar Neder, perhaps a vow to my entry into the land had been nullified, right? Why would he think it'd be rescinded?
Because I'm reading here now because he led them into the land of Sichon and Og, which is already part of it.
Right, to Israel. Right, and that land is being given over to Reuben and God. So therefore, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. In other words, the beginning of Israel has already been established by them being conquered.
And this note also says that this part had already been given to Abraham.
Right.
So about that, that's already part of the land.
Lamor, next Rashi, last Rashi in 23, saying, This is one of the three places Shamar Moshe Lifnei Amokim that Moshe said before Hashem, "Eini nichacha ad shetidiyenia." I'm not going to let go of you until you're going to let me know. Im taseh sheyelosim, you're going to do my request, im lav or not. Now, there's lamor. Usually, it's translated to mean saying, right? Meaning to say it to the nation, but he's saying this to the nation, right? So what does it mean, lay more? It means to repeat. In other words, I'm going to repeat and repeat until you answer my request. Yes. 24. Hashem, Hashem, God, Ata, you, laharois. You have began laharois to show is Avdecha your servant, is Godlecha your greatness, the Adcha chazaka and your strong hand. Hashem mi Kael, who is like a god, B'shamayim v'aretz, in the heavens and the earth, Asher yasik imasecha, you can do as your actions, U'kvaresecha, and to your might. Okay, so this is all part of the prayer, right? Let's see Rashi. Rashi says Hashem Elokim, Racham v'din. So why the two names of God? Hashem is merciful, and Elokim is judgment. So being merciful in judgment, he's asking him to be, because the judgment has already been made, right? So he's asking him to rescind the judgment. You begun to show your servant Pesach, an opening to engage in davening. Even though the decree has already been issued against him, Amar Lai, Moshe said to God, I learned from you. In other words, you've already shown me your greatness. So, in others, don't stop here, right? So he's using a technique that he learned from God. That God showed him this way, right? Where is that? Shamartali, nichali. When the sin of the golden calf, you said, "Leave me alone." What does "leave me alone" when someone says that? It means don't leave me alone, right? Right? That means don't leave me alone. So God was saying, don't leave me alone. Why did he say leave me alone? Because it was an opening for Moshe that he could see that he could be there to save the Jewish people from destruction. Because that's what God wanted to do to the Jewish people after the golden calf. Right? So the key was I holding on to you that you should say, let me go, Ella. But what I learned from there, there was an opening, you were letting me in, should be that it was dependent on me to pray for them. So I was on the impression now that I need to do the same. In other words, you've already showed me some of your greatness. Right, you've already began to show me, meaning it's only the beginning. You open the path, and therefore there's more greatness to see of you, and therefore where am I going to see that? When I go into the land with the people. It's God, your greatness. Zumidas tuvcha. This is your attribute of goodness. Similarly, it says, and now the verse says, we had that earlier in Bamidbar. That may the strength of Hashem be magnified. Es yadcha, your strong hand. Zum yamincha, this is your right hand. Shiu pshuta, which is outstretched, the chol ba'olam, to all the inhabitants of the world. Yeah, in other words, you're out there reaching out to them for outstretched to receive those who want to do tshuva. According to one of the explanations. Hachazaka, strong hand. Your right hand is strong, so you suppress your with compassion. As midas hadin v'chazaka, the powerful attribute of strict judgment. That's what he's doing. Wow. Okay. Continuing Rashi. Asher Mikael, who is a god or a power, right? You're not similar to a king of flesh and blood. Sheyesh layosim san kantidrin, that they had advisors and cabinet ministers. V'hamemachim biyodei, who raise objections to him. When he wants to do a kindness. And as the king wants to do a kindness, and he has ministers there who are objecting, right? Lavar al midaisa, and override his attributes. Give it to give even to the undeserving. Ata, you, on the other hand, there's no one who can raise an objection over you. If you will forgive me, you will be able to cancel your decree, and no one's going to start up with you or claim something against you. That's what it means, God's power. Well, the pshute, but now Rashi said, according to the simple meaning, what does this mean? You began to show your servant in the war of Sichan and Noeg, as it's written, see that I've delivered before you. Hareini show me the war of the 31 kings of Canaan. So the simple meaning, Rashi is saying, interesting. The simple meaning is you began to show your strength by defeating Sichan and Oig, right? And that's the beginning that you will continue to show your strength by defeating the 31 Canaanite kings. Got it?
Yeah.
Interesting. So if that's a simple meaning, why doesn't he just go with that? And why does it last? You know why I thought on that is? Because what's his purpose here? What's the context? You always need to know context with Rashi. I mean, always need to know context, right? But the context over here, he's asking Hashem, he's praying to Hashem that he should be able to go into Eretz Yisrael. It's not about the battle, the God's greatness and what he accomplished. It's only vis-a-vis him going to Eretz Yisrael. So the first explanation, you've already, no one's gonna, you have the power and no one's gonna object if you're gonna rescind the decree against me, right? So that in the context makes sense of what he's trying to do. But in the words of the verse, you have begun to show your great power, your great power. Actually, no, the whole thing. I don't even get how Sichan and Oig even get in here. I don't even know how Sichan and Oig get in here.
Because obviously it's thanks to Hashem that they were able to battle Sichan and Og, who were much mightier.
Yeah, but that's not how he explains it in the beginning. When Atach Eloisa La'adris is Avdecha. One second.
Like you said, that's the context. So context-wise, it makes sense that it was that, right? But if you want to just look at the words, you could also
No. How?
What's Yad HaChazaka in the context?
Well, what he said. He said that Midas Adin, that Midas Harachamim over Midas Adin. Unless the second explanation is not going by everything that was said before that. That's what it seems to be. Yeah. And there's everything we learned till this explanation was going according to, in the context of asking to go into Eretz Yisrael. A different explanation, the simple explanation, going back on the whole thing, erasing everything we said before that, is about the power of God over Sichan and Oig. Right?
That's what I understand.
Yeah. But why would that be the simple meaning when in the context it's not? And and you can't read a verse outside of context. Anyway, we need to have a sikh on this, obviously. Obviously, this is not simple. Understand. Folks, you follow the difficulty? Yeah? Marginally? There's a beeper went off in the back of the car saying, Chumash Rashi, Chumash Rashi. It's saying something different. It's saying Chumash Rashi.
Important.
No, no. Right now, it's more important.
Right now.
Right now, it's more
You're
important.
right.
He's putting in the back of every car. Is there a child there? Is a child there?
Yeah.
Which is very, very important. Yeah. But right now, the it's saying Chumash Rashi.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Good. Well, they're both important. That's life and that's life.
No, I said they're
But
both.
in
That's
this
what I
one-
said. But at this moment, there's only one thing that's
Yeah,
important,
you're right.
which is hard, by the way. It's hard. Okay, Ebra, no. May I pass? No, please. The era, pass meaning the Jordan, right? The Jordan River. Can I pass over, right?
Yes.
No, I'm giving you the exact. Don't look at the translation now, because when we're reading the Hebrew, I'm trying to help you to learn
Yeah.
Hebrew. Okay? The era, and that I should see as it's the land, Hatoiva, the good land. Asher, that the Aver Hayardin, it's across the Jordan. Har Hatoiv, Hazeh, this good mountain. It's interesting. Good mountain. What mountain is there, right? That's right away, red flag. What's Moshe saying over here? There's no mountain over here that he's going to cross, right? And right, Bahalvanoin and Lebanon. Okay, Rashi. Ebra, no, let me pass. No is a request. No means please. Hahara Toivazed is good mountains. Yerushalayim, that's Jerusalem. Very fascinating. Like, what does he mean? Would that have brought Jerusalem then much earlier? Just what it would have been if he would have crossed. Obviously, Jerusalem being the holy city, all of history would have gone much quicker. And we wouldn't be sitting here on Tisha B'Av right now. We'd be in Yemoshe Mashiach. But obviously, it wasn't meant to be. So, but the good mountain, right, means Jerusalem. Halvanon, Lebanon, Zu Beis Hamikdash. It's also the Beis Hamikdash. Laban Avanasim Shal Israel, because it whitens the sins of Israel. Wow.
Where do you have that? Because I don't have that. Shouldn't have been.
Huh?
Is that in Rashi? I only have Zebet and English.
Actually, I have it in a bracket from the Sifri.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it. I have it in a bracket.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Okay, got it. 26. Vis aber, and he became, and he was angry. Hashem was angry. Be and me, lemanche, because of you. V'lo shama Eli, and he didn't listen to me. Vayomer Hashem Eli, and Hashem said to me, Deravloch, enough for you, enough. Al Taisiv, don't add Daber Eli to speak to me. Oid more v'davar hazeh concerning this matter. Don't speak to me. My mind is made up. You're not going. You're not going because you know why? Because we have to be fasting right now this Tisha B'Av. Whatever reason, and we couldn't have the Gula. Yeah. 26 Rashi, Vis Aber Hashem. What does that mean? Nismalach chema. He was filled with anger. Okay. Lemanchem, because of you, bishvilchem, because of you, atengarantimly, you caused it to me. Similarly, it says, V'yaksifu al mei meriva, that they provoked his anger at the waters of strife. V'yeram l'Moshe ba'avuram, and Moshe suffered because of them. Yeah. Okay. Ravlach, it is much for you, Shalo Yomer, that they should not say, Harav Kamakasha, that people shouldn't say, how harsh is the master? How obstinate is the student that he pleads to the master, and the master does not relent. Right? In other words, that's how it. Enough already. Interesting that this is how he explains it, right? Another Rav means over here the master. Rav, how is this a simple meaning? I'm not certain. Others, it's not looking. So what I understand over here is that it's superfluous to say Rav Lach. It would have been said enough. I'll tell you, Steve. Don't add anymore. What do you think, Rav Lach? Enough. Enough. Don't add. Just don't add.
It's much more, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the word Rav means also master. So master for you, master Lach and you, meaning it's looking very bad for both of us. Look at you.
Oh, wow.
You are obstinate and I'm obstinate. That's not looking good.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
Rashi is saying.
Thing. I didn't even understand it like that, Orange. Like the whole
Yeah.
because Rav Lach, like you said, is superfluous. Like you don't even need to say it.
Well, that's why Rashi's learning it that way. Otherwise, you would learn it just enough. But it's not necessary because it's al toisef.
Exactly.
Don't add, stop. Don't add anymore. So what do you have to say, Rav Lach? It's not sufficient. You're not necessary. So from there, it means it's because it's not looking good for both,
Yeah.
for the Rav and Lach.
Yeah.
It's an implication. Obviously, it's not the right. The only reason Rashi's learning it this way is because it's superfluous, right? Okay, davar acher. Oh, Rashi not satisfied. You know what? I wasn't satisfied with that, Rashi. Like it felt a little too off the mark of simple meaning. Remember, Rashi's simple meaning.
Yeah.
That's really seemingly off the mark on simple meaning, right? Like that's okay, a very deep meaning, and it's not the meaning, but to say it's a simple meaning, that's a little stretch. So now he gives an alternative explanation. Rav Lach, it's too much, implies that there's much in store for you. Rav Tuv, great goodness. Hatzofun Loch, that's hidden away for you. That actually makes more. Rav Lach, there's for you a lot.
But again,
But it's also it's not
meaning.
Huh?
It's not how you would understand it just by reading the verse.
Because remember, because if 1 second, until you saw that the word was superfluous, that those words are superfluous, so then you're reading it as a poetry. So if you're reading it as a poetry, then it's not. If it's poetic, then it's not superfluous. Rav Lach, right? Poetically, you would say it's enough already. Don't add. That's poetic, but it's not poetry. And every word is precise. So if it's precise, I mean, if it being it's a superfluous, then what's a meaning then? So here he's giving the two possible meanings, right? That makes sense?
Yeah.
The only thing that for me doesn't make sense, I would think the second one would be the first one.
I feel like there's a third one.
What's the third one?
I don't know. I just none of these two are plain meaning.
Remember Rashi, Rashi is not merely plain meaning in the sense that sometimes you have to come on to something more because you're forced to, because in this instance, the word is being superfluous. If it's superfluous, then what it's got to mean something. So what's the plainest meaning that it could mean?
You're right.
That's right. So sometimes it's not going to be so plain.
Yeah.
It's not going to be so plain.
But these seem fairly straightforward. I mean, they don't seem.
Well, the first one, not at all.
You don't think that it's.
The first one, I think the first one is completely.
It's a stretch because it's not even a way of speaking. Like it's not. It wouldn't be understood from that.
Right, exactly. But in the context, maybe you could say it because here you're seeing the stubbornness on the both sides. You could see in the context. Yeah, but that's in context, not in the words. The word Rav Lach. So Rav, enough already. That's the usual meaning, and we've had that a few times now, by the way, right? We had it last week's parsha, right? Right. We did that was the Torah studies last week. Was on that, right? Last week. But Rav Lach also can mean a lot for you. Usually it means enough already, enough, right? But Rav means a lot, and lach for you, a lot for you. Oh, what's a lot for you? He's not going to Israel, so what's a lot? You're hidden away for you. There's a big thing hidden away. So that in the words makes sense, but not in the context, maybe. But in the context,
Because in the most literal sense, those words mean a lot for you.
Yeah, meaning you're.
no, I'll tell you why in context it doesn't make sense. Because he doesn't care about that. In context, that's what he wants. He wants to go into Israel.
Yeah.
He wants, and by the way, why does he want to go into Israel? For our sake. For our sake, he wants to go to Israel because we wouldn't be fasting today.
Oh, okay.
He wants to bring the Gula. He wants to bring Mashiach. So he wants it for our sake, right? So in that context, that's why the first one maybe makes more sense. Because in the context says, God is saying to him, he's candy, he doesn't want a candy, right? Right? He doesn't want a candy, but that you are making a chil Hashem now? Oh, you're making a chil Hashem? Look what you're doing. You're making me look bad, but you're also making yourself look bad. You're being stubborn and I'm being stubborn. We're both looking back to people, right? That's how remember, this is how people are gonna look at it.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, oh, that maybe now makes a little more sense. Makes now that we had our Fabringen over here, makes a little more sense.
But no one was seeing this conversation.
What does that mean?
I mean, in terms of like it making them look bad, it was just the two of them.
But it's in the Torah.
True.
It's in the Torah. That's one thing, and that's a good question. But like, what does that mean exactly? Like, how would he's davening privately to God to this, right?
Yeah.
It's not in the public, saying he's not. This is not Broadway, right? He's not putting on a show, that's for sure, right? So he's doing this privately. So how would anybody know that? But like you say, it's in the Torah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that. I wonder if that's a sufficient understanding of it.
The private becomes public.
The concealed becomes revealed, you can say.
But what's happening now? Moshe is telling this to the people, though.
Exactly.
He's telling this to but he's telling this to the people. So the question is, how would the people have seen that? That the master is stubborn and the student is stubborn. How would they have perceived that besides him saying it now? How would they, if he wouldn't have said Rav Lach, we would have left those words out. We wouldn't, right?
But the fact that he's saying,
But the fact that he's saying V'eschanan, yeah. Right.
Hashem is not letting him in. So the contrary, the Rav Lach now really makes
sense because he, in the context of all of this, he has to say that. Otherwise, then the whole question is, why is he saying this at all?
Right.
That's another good question. Like, why would he be telling the people, this is what I did? Because it's a lesson. It's a lesson. Because it's a lesson. It's a lesson for us. It's a lesson for us that we need to learn on demanding something, how you ask God, that it's a free gift, right? And that's one lesson you need to learn, and that there's something that you want very badly for the sake of the people, that you also fight for that, right? And that's what he did.
Yeah.
So all of that has to be told. With that, Rav Lach. Wow.
like the Torah is Hashem. The Torah is from Hashem Torah, right? Hashem is
That's what I'm saying. That's a hira. That's a hira that it's giving us. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. 27. Ale Reisha Pisga. So Hashem said, Ale, go up, like Aliyah. Reish to the head, Pisga of the mount, of the peak. Saw Einecha, lift up your eyes. Yama to the west. So why to the west? Because he's on the east side of the Jordan. So of course he has to go look west, right? That was what we call simple question.
Geographically.
Right. So funny, yeah. Everybody's probably thinking some mystical meaning. Safaina to the north, Eimana to the south, Mizracha to the east. Why look east? Good question. Ure'ei, and see beinecha with your eyes, ki lo saver, because you're not going to pass. It's a Yarden, the Jordan Hazeh, this Jordan. Whoa! Now we see God's toughness.
Saying you're really not going to.
You're not going. Chassidus explains what the Chassidus explains over here. Amazing, amazing what the Chassidus explains. But we're not learning Chassidus now.
Give us a little taste.
Hey, yeah. Let's first finish and.
For long
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I mean, we got most of the.
for the rest of
Okay, Rei beinecha, see with your eyes. Kashi mimeni, you requested from me ve'eres haaretz hatoiva, and let me see the good land. God's saying, right? You asked me to see the good land? Okay. I'm showing you the whole land. Shenemar bi'aretz, Hashem is called Aretz. So Hashem, as we'll see later, Hashem showed him the entire land. Yeah, but that's what he's doing now. I don't understand why does he have to bring a proof from there? Because there it's Kol Aretz, the whole land.
And this is good land.
Or
It doesn't say
the
the
fact that he's, I mean, he's a human being, right? Ish. So he can't see the whole land from the mountain necessarily. Hashem has the power to show him the whole land, but he on his own from the mountain to see the whole land, I don't think he can see the whole land. Make sense? That's what it says. Vayarehu Hashem.
No, so he's granting him a partial of what he asked. He wanted to see the land, but in the land. So he's giving him, go up top of the peak of the mountain, and you'll see the land. Not in the land though, but you're going to see the land. So I'm giving you partially what you asked. Okay, that's what's happening. And that's why it's because it's superfluous to say re'ei be'enecha, see with your eyes. Obviously, you see with your eyes. Just say re'ei. Why be'enecha? Why with your eyes? Obviously, you're going to see with your eyes. In other words, I'm giving to you what you requested. You requested with your eyes to see. I'm giving that to you, just not in the land. You want it in the land. I'm giving you outside of the land. Yeah.
Was Moshe's request to see? Moshe's request was to go into the land, right? Not to see the land. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, okay.
Yeah.
25. Let me cross over and
See the land. Yeah. So we got
Right.
half.
It's interesting that he asked to see the land. Why not be in the land?
Yeah.
It's the first thing I asked. Let me cross over.
No, he said. Yeah, but what no, there is Aris. I guess I'll see the goodness of the land. That to see the goodness of the land. And that means actually a deeper level, see Mashiach, the goodness of the land, to see ultimately redemption. Right? Complete
Which would be
redemption.
if he was in the land.
If he would be in the land, so there'd be ultimate. That's why he can't go in the end.
Yeah.
Because if he goes, it means ultimate. Because everything about Moshe is eternal.
Wow.
Everything about him is eternal.
This parsha really ties into today. In
Yeah,
terms of exile.
yeah. And we read this morning from today. It was in this parsha. It's tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow's reading even. Yeah. Okay. 28. Itzav is Yeshua, command Joshua, v'chaskeu, and strengthen him, v'amtzehu, and encourage him, kihu yavar, because he will cross, lifnei ha'am, before the nation, hazeh, this nation, v'hu yanchil, and he will take possession. And he will take possession. Yanchil will not take, like give possession. Yanchil, he'll give the possession of the oisam, them, as the artists, the land of Shetira that you are now seeing. Wow. Okay. Rashi, Tzavas Yeshua, command Yeshua, al hatarachos, regarding all the troubles, the alam asois, and all of the burdens, the alam aribas, and all of the quarrels. Let them know the good times are coming. You know, Yidden are going to make trouble.
Oh, yeah. No way around that.
Oh yeah. Chaskevam say you strengthen him and give him resolve b'dvarecha with your words. Shaliyeh rachali by that his heart should not become weak. Leimar to say, Kishem shenen Rabbi Aleihim, just as my master Moshe, he got punished over the Israelites, right? Kach Seifi Mayend is also going to be that way. La Nishaleim, that I'm going to be punished because of them. Mafticha Yani, I assure him. Kihu Yavar, that he will cross the Jordan, and he will cause them to inherit the land. Psh. He's not gonna not do the job. He's gonna do the job.
You can understand why Joshua would have had that doubt.
Yeah.
Moshe couldn't make it.
Yeah. Well, again, those are the Rashi's explaining. That's what the words in the verse mean. That's what we have to remember. We're not learning an idea here. We're learning Chumash and how Rashi's understanding the Chumash. What you're saying is correct, but that's you're talking from, the verse is saying that. That's what's important over here. That's what we want to make sure that we see this idea that the Torah is teaching it to us, right? That's the point. Kihu Yavar, he will cross. Im Yavar lifnehem. If he
means cross, right?
Yavar means cross, yeah. If he crosses before you, in chalu, he will. They will inherit im lav, and if not, lo in chalu, they will not inherit. In other words, he is the one who's going to make it happen. And so you find kishalach min ha'am, that when Yeshua sent from the people L.I. to attack the Canaanite town, Yashav, and he sat in the camp, Yaakov mehem anshe Ai, and the men of Ai struck from among them. Then Yeshua fell on his face, meaning he prostrated himself in praying before Hashem. But Amar Lay, and God said to him, Kum lech, don't pray to me. Get yourself up. Kam lach. See, it says kam lach. The word is kum. It's written, but it's spelled in a way that it should be vowelized kam. It means you have stood still, which implies atahua emet bimkaimach, that you are the one who stands in your place. And you send my sons to war. Why are you falling on your face? This is not what I said to Moshe, your master. If he crosses Oivrim, they cross him. Lav, if not, in Oivrim. And others, don't send them. You got to go with them. You got to cross with them to the battle, right? And if he crosses into the battle, then he will inherit to all of the Jewish people. Otherwise, they're not going to inherit. And what's the proof? They went to Ai. He stood back, and some of the troops fell in battle. And then, for he heard that, he prostrated in prayer. Don't pray to me. Go ahead. Come, get up.
I was who? Who was he?
Ai is a place, a
Okay.
town. It was a town in Canaan.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, 29. The nation begai mul base paor. We remained in Gai is the valley opposite base paor. Rashi 29. Nation begai, and we stayed in the valley. It's them la vaydazora. You attach yourself to idolatry. Afal pikein, nonetheless, I say to you, atis hashma as a chukim. That's the next verse. It's going into the next verse. Nonetheless, I say to you, the Israelites, listen to the decrees. Vakol mochul loch. Everything will be forgiven to you, for you. But I wasn't privileged to be forgiven. Psh. I mean, I don't get that. This is a new generation. They did not sin with the golden calf. They didn't sin with Mei Meriva.
They sinned with Bapto.
They sinned with Baal Peor. Oh, correct. And Baal Peor was in the 40th year. Correct. Yeah. Okay. That's why, that's the diuk over here. That's why it's saying over here, but base Peor, right? That why is he mentioning that is because, what's the point over here? He's in the same place where he was in the beginning of Devarim. right?
Yeah.
Ever Yardin in Arvas Moav, right? So he's in baseball or over here. It's not about the place over here. It's about an indication of that you have been forgiven. I haven't, as we see previously, but you've been forgiven, and that's the cross bridge to the next verses, which is going to be about the covenant, keeping the covenant. Wow, this is very geschmack. Seeing the okay, chapter 4, verse number 1. Ata Israel, and you Israel. I'm sorry, now, not you. It's with an ayin. If it was an aleph, it's pronounced the same way. Aleph means you. Ayin means now.
Okay.
And now, Israel, Shema, listen. Elachukim, to the statutory laws, the ones that are beyond logic. That's mishpatim, and the ordinances that are logical, rational laws. Asher anechi melamed, that I am teaching eschem you. Lasos, to do. Laman, in order tichyu, that you should live. Uvasim, and that you will come, v'yirashtem, and you will inherit es haaretz, the land. Asher, that Hashem alekei aviseichem, Hashem, the God of your fathers, noisin lachem, is giving to you. Okay, no Rashi there, self-understood. Do the mitzvahs, right? Lo sifu, don't add ala davar on this thing, on this thing, on anything. Asher that anoichi I mitzaveh, that I'm commanding eschem you. V'lo yisigru mimenu, and don't lessen, subtract anything, lishmor, from it, that you should fulfill, you should guard is a mitzvah, is the mitzvahs, Hashem Elokeichem, of Hashem your God, Asher Aneichi Mitzaveh Eschem, that I am commanding you. Rashi, loy seisim. What does it mean, loy, don't add? What do you mean to add to a mitzvah? Rashi said, keep going, for example, Chumash Parsha is B'Tfilin, right? Tefillin has 4 passages in it. Don't put a 5th because you want to be a holy roller, and because this one talks to me.
This is what the Muslims said, by the way. Because they went from 3 times a prayer a day to 5 times a prayer a day.
Okay. All right. Chamesh is meaning belulav, 5 species in the lulav bundle. Chamesh tzitzios, 5 tzitzis, right? And similarly, we interpret lo sigru, not to subtract. Now, don't put 3. Don't make lulav and esrog only 3, and so on. Okay. Einechem, your eyes, ha'ra'os, that saw Asher saw that which was done Hashem, that Hashem did with Baal Peor, in Baal Peor, ki hol ish, because every man Asher halach, that went achare, is it achare? Can't see the dots here properly. Achare, Acharei Baal Peor, that every man that went after Baal Peor, Hishmidai, he was exterminated. Hashem Elokecha mikebecha. Hashem Elokecha from mikebecha, from amongst you. And amongst you, right? V'atem advekim, and you are cleaving. V'Hashem, in Hashem Elokechem, your God, Chaim, alive, kulchem hayoim, you are today. Psh. Whoever cleaves Hashem is alive. Wow, amazing. Okay. I think we'll just go. Oh, now we're going to do Tanya in a few minutes. I'm just going to go off so we can have it as a separate. Okay. Come back, folks, in a few moments. For Tanya. Thank you.